All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are reviewing Swiss Army Man. A hopeless man stranded on a deserted island befriends a dead body, and together they go on a surreal journey to get home. This movie has a 72% critic score and a 72% audience score. It's about an hour 35, nice little 95 minute movie. Rated R, A24 film. We're big fans of A24. Aiden, this was your recommendation. Me and Mike had never seen it. You've seen it, what, once, twice?
I've only seen it once.
Okay. What made you want to recommend this movie?
So,
what about it stuck out to you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, a lot stuck out to me for sure. I just remember watching this like a couple months ago, knowing that it's on HBO, and I mean, I watched it one day, like one night. I just remember sitting there, like from the opening scene to the final scene, just like in awe. Like I've never seen a movie like this before in my life, especially with two like, established actors as well, playing side by side, Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. I just thought it was unique, man. Especially like the ending. Like we won't jump too far ahead right now, but I just feel like I had to have someone else to talk to it about,
Yeah, because I think I recall you watching it and texting us that we had to watch it because it's so weird. And I think we mentioned it too when we did our Beau's Afraid episode because that was a very weird movie. I think that's when you mentioned this.
Yeah.
So
this movie is definitely unique.
Yeah, the budget was $3 million estimated, and then worldwide it made almost $5 million. So looks like it made a little bit of a profit. Yeah.
And knowing that it came out in 2016 too, I feel like I heard about it coming out, but I don't know if it was like a big blockbuster. I mean, obviously, if it only made $5 million, I wonder if it just straight to streaming. But
and I looked at the trailer after watching the movie on YouTube and had 19 million views. So
really,
yeah. So
well, I mean, you got to think Paul Dano's obviously a great actor, and then doesn't help that Daniel Radcliffe is also Harry Potter. So a lot of people see those two guys and they're like, "What could this movie possibly be about?" So they go and watch it. I mean, if you go on like YouTube and watch any of the breakdowns or anything like that, I mean, everyone just in the comments is saying that they love this movie.
Yeah. I found it to be really funny too. Like, I don't know what you thought about that. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious, the stuff in it.
Well, that's why I'm curious to see what Mike has to say, because he said this is one of the worst movies he's ever seen in his entire life.
I thought
it was great.
I over-exaggerated that, I think, but I think so. Let me start off by saying I seen A24 and my exact reaction was, yup, like I'm ready for this shit. Like this is gonna be a good movie. And then I turned it off and the end credit scene started rolling. I said, nope, that shit was fucking ass. I honest to God just I don't know, man. It just the comedy just didn't get to me, man. I thought it was just a little like it was so like bad and stupid that it was almost funny. That's the whole reason why I laughed at some of the shit, man. Like him farting like through the fucking ocean to get back on like the lake or whatever, then the water to get back on the land. Like that was honestly really like it was so dumb to me that like I started.
But, I mean, it's the name. I know it's Swiss Army Man. It's literally he's a
tool.
Can do anything. Yeah, he's a tool basically.
He can light fires with his hands.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like it's such a low budget film. You have three great actors and one great actress. Like I don't know, man. This is such a miss for me. The plot was like underwhelming as hell. Like I thought there was going to be a lot more to it, in my opinion. Like I feel like they kind of dragged out the whole getting back home experience, and the ending to me was just it was not good. Like it simply just wasn't good. This was not a good movie.
I think it's opposite because, I mean, I don't know if you guys got like emotional on it, but it's definitely a sad movie towards the end. I guess you could say it's weird and sad. Like I mean, after watching it the first time, like the first fart makes you laugh and then the last fart makes you cry basically. It's just something like I didn't get it. Like it didn't hit me too emotionally as like some others that watched this movie, but I mean I can see I took the ending more as a what the fuck, this guy's a weirdo, than I did like, oh, I feel bad for him.
Yeah, there's different ways to take it too.
Yeah.
But I want to say, in Mike's defense, a lot of people agreed with him to a certain extent because I don't know if you guys or if Aiden, if you heard, but like they showed it at Cannes, and I guess a bunch of people booed it. There's people that got up and left halfway through the movie.
Honest to God, if I seen like this movie in theaters, I would have 1,000,000% gotten up probably at like the 45-minute mark. I have no doubt in my mind.
Really? Wow.
And for me, like for me too, the ending, like I love like emotional, like I'm an emotional person. Like I love emotional movies, like but this does not connect to one bit to me. I did not feel bad for him one bit in the ending because it was comedy up until 85% of the movie. Like there was a little bit of emotional parts, and that's one thing about A24. They have great like one punches and one liners, man. Like they'll hit you with like a really good saying, like they'll make you like think about things for sure. But with this, man, you can't just go like all comedy 80% of the movie, build up a romance that doesn't make sense, and just have an emotional ending. Like there's no connection, like there's no like bridge between the three.
What did you think? What did you think of the ending? I think we should talk about it first, just to get it out of the way. But I want to hear Mike's interpretation of the ending first. Yeah. I think me and Aiden are pretty similar.
For me, it was he was lonely, and obviously I got like 100%. Like you want to feel bad for him. Like he's lonely. Like he's pretty much stalking this girl. And with that said, like looks crazy because his dad's there too. His dad doesn't even want to like own up to him being his son. Like there's a million reasons why I feel bad for him. But the ending where he just carries his dead body on the beach and Daniel Radcliffe literally just farts off into the water is one of, honest to God, one of, if not the most, like the worst ending I've ever seen in my life to a movie.
But that's so, I mean, Mike, you should know, especially seeing the A24 production symbol pop up at the beginning, you should know that you're in for a weird ass movie.
100%. Like, these are always like, I was so excited when I seen that at first, but man, like that was literally one of the most disappointing movies I've ever seen in my life. Not even that I had that high of expectations, but it just goes to show you my expectations were low and it didn't meet that. So what the fuck does that tell you about how this movie like went for me?
All right, so my take on this movie is I've only seen it once, but I mean, you're watching it, you're like, damn, this guy's like depressive. He like ran away. Who knows where he's at? You think he's on an island? Like you think he's somewhere nowhere? Like he's shipwrecked.
Castaway.
Yeah.
How did he just get on the island too? Like what? He was.
But that's the whole part of the movie is that as it goes on, you're like, all right, like this guy's like obviously castaway. Like he's making this guy up that he's alive and he found this dead body wherever. Maybe they got in a plane crash, something like that, and he just washed up on shore, and he's literally just being. He's basically having like a mental breakdown, thinking that this guy's alive, having a full-on conversation with him, carrying him around as a Swiss Army knife, basically. And then the more it goes in, the more you learn, like, oh, he's in love with this girl, and he's like showing him, he's proving to Manny, like, listen, this is the whole point of life is like find love, like do all this, like this is the girl I want to be with. And then it goes where you finally go and he's not casted away. He's literally in the girl that he is in love with's backyard. He's got all these like contraptions that they're showing during the movie that look like crazy and like elaborate, only to be like not as what they showed before. Like they're just paper maches and cutouts and stuff. And he's literally in this chick's backyard. His phone screensaver is this girl who he's stalking, who he's in love with. Yeah.
Wild.
And then
that's wild.
Yeah, and then you go, and that's why you're so invested. You're like, wow, like this movie is funny. Like, look, it's like a happy-go-lucky. And then it just completely crashes to the ground once you realize that he's in her backyard, living literally like, 20 steps down from, like in the woods right where she
down
is.
The hill. Yeah.
Yeah, literally just down the hill. You realize that he's like just in the woods. He's not on an island. Like he's not far from where he lives. And that's when it takes a twist, and that's when I got invested. I'm like how could this movie just go on for an hour and a half and then just completely flips the switch? And you see he's literally like he's got, like I mentioned, the screensaver, but then he's going and he's like trying to prove to the news company, the cops, and his dad and the girl that like, this is like, I swear he's alive, look at it. And they're like, dude, like you're fucking nuts, like this is a dead body. And then I feel like that's where the end comes in, and like, I mean, you can take it multiple ways. Do you think that he's delusional, or that they actually did see Manny come to life, and he's like, they all witnessed it for themselves?
They all witnessed it. We know that.
No, see, I think Manny's not real. I think it was a real dead body, obviously, but I think, I think everything else was in his head. And I saw a thing online where it was like humanity, and I liked one of my favorite scenes was when they're by the fire.
Yeah,
and this is like an emotional scene too. I mean, I didn't get emotional, but like you really do get in your feelings a little bit, where they're talking about like he's explaining to Manny throughout the whole movie. He's kind of teaching Manny things like simple things and other things like that, sexual things. But he explains to him, kind of the rules, and you can't say certain things in the real world because people think you're weird and look at you differently. And I liked when Manny goes, then why not just stay out here? We could be ourselves out here. Why even go back to there? It sounds awful. And honestly, like, that's true. I mean, you really do get judged easily for things you do, or, things that make you happy might make others think you're weird. You know what I mean? Yep. So that part, like, that felt real to me. And I think, clearly we see a lot of this is in his head from what's happening. I think the ending, I love the movie till the ending, not because it was mainly in his head, but I just think they could have stuck the landing a little bit better at the end. I think him like farting off into the sunset, I think was like supposed to be a happy moment for Hank. Yeah. And I don't know. It's like I said, there's multiple different ways to take it, but yeah, I think in his head he just had a friend, and it was part of himself, and it just wasn't real. He was just probably carrying around a dead body the whole time, which is crazy to think about.
Honestly, when I think more about it, you're definitely right. Like, I should completely flip my stance. I don't think Manny was real.
Yeah.
But at the same time, thinking that now, that makes this movie that much worse for me, at least.
Well, that's the thing. That's what's good about this movie, and I recommended it because, I mean, it's one of those, open endings where it could be
an A24 film.
But it's an open-ending movie where you're like, oh, he actually is alive, and like he's just like fucking. It's like an anomaly, basically, that he's a living, breathing corpse. But then you go, and then you can rewatch it and be like, all right, like this character doesn't exist at all. He's literally a dead body, and this guy's just nuts. And he's going, and like I couldn't imagine what real time, if Manny is fake, how that ending went about, because obviously we're seeing it from Paul Dano's perspective, Hank's, but like, I mean, what does it look like without him thinking that he's going down to the thing and Manny goes out? Like, are the cops and everyone still standing there and he's getting handcuffed, or he's like in the ambulance?
Yeah.
I mean, you have no idea. It could be there could be multiple.
Well, and then too, even when you think about it from the beginning, when he was about to kill himself, and then he sees Manny, you know what I mean? So it's like there's tons of things like that. And one thing I definitely want to mention. Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say, if we're breaking it down, that probably was like it's like a coping mechanism for him to like kind of not kill himself. Like that was a reason. Like he built in his head probably someone there to save him.
Like he created Manny from that moment.
Yeah,
exactly.
He created Manny from that moment.
Yeah, and that's things you could catch too easily rewatching it. And two, with it only being 90 minutes, it's not a tough rewatch. I guess if you didn't like it as much.
As weird as this sounds, like this was so bad that I almost want to like rewatch it from a different perspective now. Just to bash it even more.
There's there's shows and stuff too, or reality TV shows especially, where they're like so bad but they're still fun to watch. Do you know what I mean? So if you're taking it from that way, Mike, I enjoyed the movie, and I think Aiden did too. But yeah, one thing I definitely want to mention is the soundtrack to this movie. Great. I just texted you guys. Yeah. I have never seen the movie. It came out in 2016. I've heard the music so many times I never knew what it was from. And yeah, there's like, even when they're underwater, there's a different song. Like, and they're singing and dancing together throughout aspects of the movie. There's the montage, which is a great song. There's so many, and I just think from an original movie like this, it's so unique and different to everything else that I think the music was just like my favorite part of the movie for sure. I thought it was insanely good.
It definitely keeps you involved for sure.
And I remember watching it for the first time. Paul Dano's singing too is really good. I think Daniel Radcliffe's singing is really good. Like when they're in the cave singing, I'm like, damn, they're fucking talented. Like I thought so. I don't know.
So and I read some of I watched a few videos today at work, and they were talking about how Daniel Radcliffe like saw this script, and they wanted to make a dummy for like most of the action scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, like imagine sitting there and like in makeup the whole time. Like playing your character being like limp and all that, like it's crazy.
Well, I was seeing press junkets too, where he was taking the doll around with him.
Yeah,
to do the
yeah. And it's awesome because I mean that's the funny part about Daniel Radcliffe. I mean Paul Dano always plays that like, I mean I think the first Paul Dano movie I ever saw was Little Miss Sunshine. I mean he was even like. He was a good ass character in that, you know.
Prisoners too, dude.
Yeah, and then you just look at all of his movies since then. Like he just plays that crazy psychopath, like weirdo role so
Riddler.
well. Yeah, like he just does it so well.
Oh, yeah, it's the best.
So, I mean, I definitely think that's what. I mean, those two guys alone dragged me in. Obviously, being an A24 produced film, that dragged me in.
Yeah, I think Daniel Radcliffe was able to be funny too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's a funny guy in real life. If you ever seen like interviews with him.
Yeah.
So it was cool that he was able to do something like this.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that he's doing so well at acting and not even moving his body is
exactly.
insane.
And you got to think like how hard that is for him.
Yeah, and then too, like obviously the movie's titled Swiss Army Man, but like I think they used like 20 something. I was trying to keep count of how many different abilities he had. Yeah, and like you just start to lose track.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
How many
the shit they came up with.
Yeah, I mean it's unique.
Can we talk about the bear scene?
Yeah.
Can we talk about how fucking ass that was, dude? Like I'm not even trying to. I'm not like Josh. You said like this is a unique movie, and I agree it is.
It is very unique.
It's a unique stench of dog shit. Like it's a new strain of dog shit. This is what this movie is, in my opinion. Like there's no other way you can describe that. Like that bear scene was so fucking bad. Like you're telling me he's gonna get not mauled by a bear, but his leg is gonna get pretty much broken down to the bone, like clawed by a bear, and he's gonna be able to carry fucking Manny. Bro, it's just this shit is just it's so bad, bro. I don't even want to. Like, I don't even want to finish this review. I just want to give it a fucking 0.
It's all in his head, so maybe the bear attack wasn't even real.
Yeah, we don't really know.
There's no way that him alone with a dead body are gonna make it out of a bear fight.
Were there any lines or anything, Mike, that made you laugh because they're funny? Or
there is one in the cave that I can't think of. It's like it was like pussy or something like that. Hank Manny said that.
There was the one I sent you guys, and it was when they started humming Jurassic Park, and you know instantly because it's one of the most famous fucking scores
of all time.
Yeah, and he goes Jurassic Park. You know about Jurassic Park because they're trying to figure out his name and everything because he just woke up and started talking. Oh, and he wakes up for the first time and he gets punched in the face. Fucking hilarious. That made me laugh. So he goes, if you don't know Jurassic Park, then you don't know shit. He says it with a straight face and then it cuts away. I just thought that was hilarious. Yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot of lines.
What about his dick being the compass?
The boner, bro. And fucking Hank trying to tap it with a stick, bro.
Dude, and when the little girl sees it at the end, you're like, what the fuck?
Oh my god, bro. That gave me like secondhand embarrassment when the little girl came up. Like, just got to a point where like, yeah, that's kind of sick when you think about it, bro. Like, you're
supposed to be embarrassed for the character.
Yeah,
100%.
It's weird.
100%. No,
you know what I mean?
it did its job for sure. But like, that's just like, you can't flip from a comedy movie for 85% of the movie. And the next thing you know, someone's kid is seeing a stranger with a dead body fucking stalking your mom.
Yeah, but that's why I recommended this movie, because you're so invested in it. It's literally the opposite of what you just watched in the last 10 minutes. And it's like, what? How could this, like...
You said the ending makes it all, and the ending makes it worse, if anything. It should have just done like a dumb ending.
No, I think that but that's the point, is that it's like, wow, you're invested in this movie, you actually enjoy it, like, wow, this is gonna be a happy ending, and then it just takes a dark turn. You're like, you didn't see it coming out from anywhere.
Well, because it's the first time too where we see other characters and you're seeing it from their point of view instead of Hank's.
Yeah, and you're like, what the hell is going on? This guy's sitting in the woods playing with paper mache and cutouts and stuff, and he's wooden statues.
Like, what did we think this like ending would be throughout the whole movie? That like for some odd reason, this girl he's stalking and has a picture of, that knows nothing of this guy's existence was gonna
I just watched the movie and
was gonna get a happy ending with this girl.
I was convinced. I don't know if you guys were that it was like Hank's girlfriend or friend or something like that. With the lock screen thing, I was like, I was convinced it was someone important, and the fact that like we figure out more about it, and when he's looking through the Instagram or whatever, Facebook, and flipping through the pictures of her and her husband or their kid, you know what I mean? It's like, whoa.
So then that's when you take into consideration that at the beginning of the movie, you think he's shipwrecked, you think he's like in a plane crash, and then you realize like, oh, maybe it is his girlfriend and all that, and then it's like, no, he's literally in the woods at the creek behind his house, like,
right behind her house.
Yeah, like, what?
I saw something too, and it's on the movie trivia, which we'll do in a little bit here. But his name is, I think it's Hank Thompson for Tom Hanks in Castaway.
Really?
They did it on purpose, to make fun of it. So, that's
I
why
mean, it's
everyone says
literally
the Manny thing is Hugh Manny T.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, that's why I guess like if whoever wrote this movie, like they watch Castaway and they're like, hey, I got a good idea.
Yeah.
And then just completely scratch it with the ending.
I mean, for what it is, a $3 million movie, yeah, I guess it did its job to let losers like us talk about it. But I mean, for the most part, like, bro, that shit was fucking ass. Like,
Josh, do you recommend this movie to someone that's never seen it?
I would, but they'd have to be into weird movies. Like,
100%.
Me knowing Mike, I wouldn't recommend this to Mike. Maybe someone like Brian who like loves Daniel Radcliffe. I feel like, and he's kind of into weird shit. I feel like he would probably be someone to enjoy this. But like, even like Andrew, I don't think he would enjoy it. I think he would agree with Mike on it.
Me and Andrew are pretty consistent on our opinions. Josh, you might have to. I'm gonna give you a break really quick.
Yeah, what's up?
You might have to to edit this out. I don't know if I can say this or not, but the whole reason that Brian would like this movie is because he has a smoother brain than most people. Okay. So I think that's why Brian would like this movie.
Could you just say he was attracted to Daniel Radcliffe and would love the boner scenes and stuff? 'Cause that's more accurate.
Wait, you guys ready for this one?
Yeah.
You know who wrote this movie?
Daniel
Kwan.
Actually.
And it is the guy, one of the Daniels that wrote
Everything
Everywhere All at Once.
Dude, I just got that on DVD, and I was looking at like the who directed and who wrote Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It was both D&D.
Yeah, and I was looking and I was like, Daniel. And I just said that out of my ass, so it's kind of crazy. But
yeah, no, both of those guys wrote it. So.
A lot of Daniels involved.
Yep.
Because they wrote and directed it, right?
Yep. And it's crazy
it's
that,
cool.
I mean, look at Once Upon a Time, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
And this is the movie they made before that.
Yeah. And that's
what it is.
And here's the thing. They gave them another movie after people who've seen this movie.
But people like it. It's got like a cult following.
It does have a cult following.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I mean, you got to look back at everything, and like, what about the butt plug trophy scene?
Yeah, I mean, that movie's weird
random,
too.
It's weird as fuck. It's just random.
That's why we loved it.
Yeah, and that's
but
why
it was weird.
I didn't love this movie, but I mean, it was a good watch.
Yeah, no, and I said the same thing about Beau's Afraid, and maybe I'm just into weird movies, but it's refreshing in a time where we're getting fucking reboots and like sequels and everything like that, where we can get like an original movie that's so out of left field, unique, that it is refreshing and fun to watch because you don't know what you're in store for. And I think the ending definitely, carries that in. So that's what I enjoyed about the movie. Again, I think they could have stuck the landing better. I do have my issues with the movie. I don't think it's as bad as what Mike's saying.
No.
I probably would rewatch it in the future. I'm not going to go rewatch it next week. But in the future, I'd probably watch it again. Who knows? And like I said, the soundtrack alone is amazing. I definitely could see myself in the car bumping that shit because it was good. Yeah. Really good.
So I got two things to say to that. One, I would recommend this movie to someone that I would recommend it. I'll be like, listen, if you want to watch a movie that is so bad and you want to waste 90 minutes of your life...
I knew it was coming.
Dude, I've seen way worse movies.
Dude, but if you want to watch something that's going to make you think and it's going to make you actually think about your life and what you're doing with your actual life, then watch this movie for sure. But besides that, don't watch this fucking movie. The second thing is, I agree with you, Josh, when it comes to like the ideas behind like this and everything, everywhere all at once. Like you want like those outlandish ideas. Like we're getting the Disney blueprint, like happy endings. Like it's all the same shit that's coming out nowadays. But I think you have to play two sides of the coin. Like you have everything everywhere all at once, and this movie once you hit it really hard. Like we see with everything everywhere all at once. But with this, I think this is a huge miss, and that's why like swinging for the fences, like you're either going to strike out or you're going to get a major hit. And that's kind of how I view both these films.
Yeah. But I mean, too, if you look at the biggest movies of the summer besides the weekend in which we're recording this, which is Oppenheimer and Barbie, besides those two, I mean, we're getting Fast 10, we're getting Indiana Jones, 5, we're getting, you know what I mean? It's like, it's franchise all these reboots or sequels. Yeah, it's like these franchise, and these are the biggest, Mission Impossible, these are the biggest movies of the year, of the summer, and it's like, when we get something like this where it's unique and fresh, that's what interests me in a way. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I'm still excited for the Avengers movie coming out in a few years, or Deadpool. I still am.
Not after what I watched last night, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, Secret Invasion, yeah.
Next episode. I tried to start the first half of the first episode. Like I watched half of it and I turned it off. That did not get me in one bit. I'm probably not going to watch Secret Invasion, which says something. Like that's.
Well, Mike. One nice thing you could say about this movie, would it be the soundtrack? Would it be anything? Did you enjoy the music at least?
Yeah, the music was good, and I'm like,
okay,
I'm over exaggerating.
That one would be crazy if you didn't at least.
I was gonna say, I think this guy watched it on mute.
Yeah,
it is not. I'd have to really think about it. The worst movie of all time that we've watched probably is something that we've completely forgotten. Like, it's not as bad as like a movie like this. This movie is not a 0 out of 100.
Bad.
Blonde was bad. Blonde was bad.
That was
bad. This is a little bit above Blonde. Birdman, I didn't watch that one.
I like this more than like As Above, So Below. Like there's a few movies we've done that are pretty
That's crazy. But
Day Shift.
Daybreak, I don't know what the fucking movie's called. So but regardless though, the soundtrack was good. The three Daniel Radcliffe, Paul Dano, and I forgot the girl's name. She's in like Sky
Mary
High.
Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah. She's in like Sky High. She was in Birds of Prey.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, she's a great actress.
Death Proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her reaction to Hank
so
at the end was like insane. Yeah, she really carried it there at the end because, I mean, that's fucking creepy. You know what I mean? She, like Aiden said, she had a stalker living in her backyard for who knows how long.
And the fact that the cops find his phone and they're like showing each other, they're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, they're calling him Manny. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. And then the fact that he's hiding from his dad doesn't even want to see the dead body. Well, and then he goes behind him and like
two things with that.
Crutches.
His dad looks at the dead body and he acts like he's sad and just walks to the car.
And we couldn't even look at it, remember?
Oh. Is that okay?
Yeah, he didn't even want to look at it because he felt bad. So you probably understand that, like, in his eyes, he does feel like he failed him as a father, especially probably at the end.
They don't tell you how long he was away from.
Yeah, any outcome he failed him as a father.
Yeah.
But then even, like, when... Either way, Manny, the news company didn't get him farting away. Like, it's still the fact that his dad's, like, he's still getting in trouble because he's stalking this lady.
Yeah.
Like, he's got pictures of her and her family on his phone. He's living in her backyard. He's got a whole bus, a whole, like, community in their backyard and shit.
Well, here's the thing,
how they met.
Yeah. Here's the thing. He had an out, too. Like, with the dead body, they could have easily, like, been, hey, like, this is his phone. So this was Manny's phone. And he could have been like, yeah, that was his phone. I don't know where the fuck that came from.
Well, because they even said they'd take him to the morgue and no one would come see him. And, they're, like, fully going to throw it on him. So, definitely he was lugging around a dead body. I definitely do believe that. 100%. But I think the rest was all in his head. Yeah. So,
but no, I mean, like I said, I thought this movie was unique. Yeah, I think it was a good one-time watch.
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, especially if you like these actors too. I think Paul Dano's beard was definitely fake, right? Had to be.
Beard?
Yeah, remember the beard at the beginning?
100%.
I was like, that's gotta be fake. I mean, it's a nice beard, but I was like, that can be his. Yeah, there's some good trivia on this. Paul Dano, revealed in an interview he wanted to be in a movie after hearing one sentence synopsis from the directors. Specifically, the director told him they wanted to make a movie where the first part makes you laugh and the last part makes you cry.
Yep.
Yeah, and that is the best way to sum up this movie. I mean, the fart jokes, yeah, they're ridiculous and they go way too far, but it's a metaphor, right? So,
yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe promoted the movie. I mentioned this earlier, walking around with a Manny doll. I looked up pictures after reading that. It was crazy, and I watched one of the interviews with the doll. Really funny. Fake version of Manny was used in most of the film, but Daniel Radcliffe insisted on being in every shot. Gaten, you mentioned that earlier.
Yep.
Kudos to him. I think it made the movie look even better. Daniel Radcliffe has stated that this is his favorite film he's been a part of.
Yeah.
Brian would be upset hearing that. He's a huge Harry Potter guy.
I believe it, man. I mean, you got to think it was probably fun to film. I mean, it's not a high budget. It's not like one of those crazy studios that, you're doing all this like stuff for. And I mean, we see with Daniel Radcliffe too, like he literally does whatever he wants. He'll play any role that he wants. No one's going to tell him what to do. And, as an established actor like that, just from his childhood, I mean, I think it's funny. Like, I mean, he's in, Guns Akimbo, which is the first film that he did, like, in a long-ass time. Then he did this. He did whatever movie where he's, like, a white supremacist. I've never seen that one. He was
in Once You See Me Too, I believe that, too.
Once You See Me, he was in that.
Yeah, where he plays a magician, which is pretty funny.
I mean, he's in random films.
He'll be able to live off Harry Potter and just his name the rest of his life, pretty much, just from that.
That's what you would think he would do, but I mean, he likes doing these weird, low budget films.
Yeah.
It's showing he's in The Lost City, that Channing Tatum, Sandra Bullock movie.
Oh, yeah, he was.
I never saw that.
I think he plays the bad guy.
Really?
I did see it. Yeah, it's a little forgettable.
I forgot he was in The Woman in Black. That's a scary-ass movie.
Yeah. This is impressive, Mike. You'll give the movie kudos for this.
All right.
This movie was filmed in only 22 days.
I can tell, man. Fuck.
It's insane.
I thought you'd win that over. Andy Hewell, who composed the film soundtrack, appears at the end as a cameraman. Pretty cool. He was the guy for the news recording, yeah.
Yep.
Members of the cast...
Tarantino vibes.
Members of the cast and crew contributed to Manny's farting, including Paul Dano. Daniel Radcliffe claims he did not contribute a fart. So
they just all farted and recorded it?
Yeah.
All woke up with pink eye the next time, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure some of them fucking had track marks. They tried to get multiple brand sponsors, but everyone said no except for Hostess. Apparently they saw positive gain from the use of Twinkies in Zombieland, so now they say yes to pretty much everything. Pretty funny.
Makes sense.
Due to its juvenile humor, particularly its avid fart jokes, many audience members walked out of the theater when they saw the film screened in 2016's Sundance Film Festival. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And then those guys go on to win Movie of the Year.
Yeah.
The Best Picture. That's insane.
Yeah. And this is my last one, they digitally removed instances of visible breathing and blinks from Daniel Radcliffe's part. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's hard.
Because they're even on him for, like, some scenes, like, they're on him for a while.
Yeah, and he looks fucking dead.
I can barely hold my breath for, like, 10 seconds, man, and let alone 30 seconds, not trying to have that big breath at the end. That shit would be so hard to hold, man.
Even when he's, like, saying his lines, like, it does, like, under his breath. Like, it's not like
and too, especially when he is not talking yet, he's getting thrown around everywhere, you know what I mean? And it's
Paul Dano's actually picking him up and shit.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, too, is, like, when you mentioned the whole dummy thing, like, I remember watching an interview, and he's like, I don't know, I just delivered my lines better with him on my back. Like, I couldn't deliver the line with the dummy on my back, so...
No, and you guys think, too, from this movie, if they weren't friends already, they got to be good friends now. I mean, the whole movie's just them two.
Yeah.
And carrying them around.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, we can get into scores. Mike, I feel like you should go first so we don't influence you.
Really? I already had my score the second I... So, yeah, man, this movie was just a major miss for me. I get the whole kind of outlet that they were trying to go with. And like I talked about here, you swing for the fences, you hit a home run with everything ever all at once, and then you strike out with this movie. Then that's how I view things. I know, but I'm saying though, like, just like that type of movie where you go for outlandish, like, just like never before seen type movie ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying with that. But big miss for me, man. Just the bridge from the comedy to the romance to the all of a sudden serious like stalker, like murderer, not murderer, but you know what I'm saying, like stalker type vibes at that. It made no sense and did not blend one bit for me. Now, obviously, like I talked about, two great actors and one great actress, but like I said, dude, just a major miss. So with that said, I'm gonna give it a 33 out of 100.
Wow.
God.
Yeah.
And what do you give fucking She-Hulk or what was that other shitty movie we saw? Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder, I would watch a million times over this movie. But I looked it up. I gave Blonde a 27, and I think I put this a little bit above Blonde for me, so that's why I went 33.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, if you would have came in here, Mike, saying Blonde was better, I would have. Then you would have pissed me off.
Hey, the only thing good about Blonde is not three syllables, but Ana de Armas.
You say TIT.
Yeah, 4 letters. Yeah, I can go next. Like I said, I think from the music alone, it was like bumping it up throughout me watching the movie. There was certain aspects where I was laughing out loud. Like I said, my gripe with it is the ending. I wasn't a huge fan of the way they ended it. I liked it that it set the tone in reality and showed, the characters from different people's point of view of what was actually happening, especially when they went down there and were seeing all the things that they built together. I guess he built alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with an 80 because I really did enjoy the movie. Yeah, Mike, I said I'd even rewatch it. I said I'd recommend it to people. I think the music was great. I actually ended up liking it. From when because I watched half of it and then I came back and watched the rest of the half a couple hours later. But when I watched the first half, I was like, I'll probably go maybe low 70s. But then, like, as it kept going, I enjoyed it more and more and more. And I probably would have given it an even higher score if they stuck the ending more, in my opinion.
So, Josh, I'm going to list off some movies for you, and I want you to tell me if this is better or worse than the movie.
Okay.
The new Indiana Jones.
I like New Indiana Jones.
Okay, so you gave that a lower score than this one. The Flash.
What'd I give it?
You gave it a 77. What about The Flash?
So 3 points?
What about The Flash?
Flash.
Hey, quit interrogating this guy, all right?
I think I gave The Flash an 82, right?
Nope.
Lower? Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I did like this more than The Flash.
Josh, Mike said if you like this movie, you're smooth.
What about Fast X?
Fast X I liked a lot, actually.
Okay, so substantially over this movie, you think?
Not substantially, at a few points, maybe.
Because you gave Fast X an 80 as well, just so you know that.
Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
The Mandalorian Season 3. So you're telling me if you were gun to your head, you would watch this along the lines of The Mandalorian, is what you're telling me.
I'd say that, I mean, Mike, it's 90 minutes compared to 8 hours.
But but here's the thing: if someone had a gun to your head, and they were like, Josh, like you have one thing to watch here, you have unlimited time, but just whatever you want to spend your time and energy capacity.
If it's just season 3, Mike, I'd say this movie. I liked season 1 and 2 a great deal. I think it's an amazing show. Just season 3 was a little bit more disappointing, and I still enjoyed it, but it was just a little bit more disappointing than season.
And that is our rewind on Swiss Army Man. We will see you guys next week.
I haven't finished yet.
I'm kidding.
Let Aiden go, dude. His pick.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I did recommend this. I realize now, the more we talk about it, that I went on an A24 binge, and I was just watching all these movies that I haven't seen produced by A24. I watched Midsummer, probably I think
was
4
that
or 5.
around the time when Beef was out too, or no?
No, it was before Beef. So I just went on a kick, and I remember watching this movie, and every single A24 film has that weird vibe to it, has that twist. And I remember watching this and waiting the entire film, like the entire 90 minutes, waiting for that dark turn. And then right when you least expect it, it hits. And that's why I thought that, I was waiting for it. So I think that it made me enjoy this movie a little bit more because I knew that it was coming. I just didn't know when. And so, I mean, Dana Radcliffe.
And you like the actors a lot, too.
Yeah, 100%. Paul Dano's amazing. Dana Radcliffe's good for everything that I've seen him in. I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, but he does a good ass job. But I mean, you have no idea that what is it, Mary Elizabeth Winstead? That she's in it until like the end, or basically when they see the pictures of her and stuff like that
on the lock screen.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's a great one-time watch. I mean, if you're into weird movies and shit like that, you're gonna enjoy it, or you're just gonna add it to the list of all the other weird ass shit that you've seen. Because I've definitely seen way worse and I've seen way weirder. So I mean, I think that this one's kind of in the middle. I thought it was hilarious. Music was great, acting was great. So I mean, it's just one of those movies that you just recommend to someone that's into that shit. Like I wouldn't recommend it to my grandma or someone. Yeah, it's perfect length too, and that's why that 90 minutes is perfect. And, low budget. I had no idea watching it that D&D obviously wrote and directed it, which is cool. Like looking back at it now. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was awful.
What's the score?
I don't. Score.
Mike's got your shit pulled up.
No, Josh kind of raised the bar a little too high. I already had a score set in mind. I was gonna give it a 77 out of 100. Not my favorite movie.
We're not too far off.
Not my worst movie. No, I mean I did enjoy it, and I would recommend it.
We're both like 50 points away from him. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's way worse A24 films than this one. I'll tell you that.
I mean, I don't deny that for sure. It's just this movie is such a miss. It's actually crazy to me that you guys even put it within the realm.
I think they did a good job because
I can't believe it didn't make you laugh, Mike.
Even watching this like farting, like right at the beginning, you're like, "What the fuck?
Yeah,
why is he farting?" And
watching him do the weird shit was funny.
No. And in the group chat, you called me. Because I didn't like it, you called me simple-minded. But that is the definition of simple-minded, liking farting.
I was kidding, but
I
could tell I struck a nerve.
The first part was funny.
Yeah, 100%.
It was so unexpected.
But
and then you're like, all right, what is this movie possibly about? So then you sit up
when Hank is literally riding Manny and he's farting through the ocean, you laugh at first, and then you're like, all right,
he's creating a tide behind him. It's fucking hilarious.
like this is actually like mind-bogglingly stupid.
It's the
it's so bad
of this movie.
It makes you laugh.
You're watching that at the beginning of the movie. What the hell is in store for the rest of the movie?
Yeah, it's so stupid and weird. It makes it funny.
Not much, obviously.
It just gets progressively weirder.
Yeah, and then it gets progressively dog shit at the end with one of the worst possible endings it could have had with a movie that was 85% comedy.
But dude, it's an A24 film. You know
Mike,
that
could you have written a better movie? These Oscar winner directors.
No. I think I could have written this
Academy Award winners.
I think I could have. I could have made this movie better. 1,000,000%.
We need the Mike Prescott.
But that's the thing. It wasn't supposed to be a fucking $1 billion movie.
I get it. It was a $3 million budget movie for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, fuck.
You know what's crazy, Mike? Because Everything Everywhere All at Once was your favorite movie last year, and this is your least favorite movie of the year. So,
yep.
I don't know. If you meet the directors, I don't know if you should talk shit to them or shake their hands.
Yeah, what would you do?
I would shake their hands. I'd say, listen, you have great minds, but that fucking Swiss Army Man movie you made was dog shit.
That's exactly what I would say. Fucking spit on you.
That's fine,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, D&D is about to get fucking their ass beat by me. That's what happened.
You're about to give D&B dick and ball.
No, they're great minds, and they're great writers, and they do an amazing job. This was just a huge miss. That's all.
No, but knowing that they wrote and directed this movie, like, I'm excited for what they have to come next. I mean, the only two movies that are, like, obviously well-known and, like, established films are these two. I mean, their second film, they already won a bunch of awards.
Is this their only two films?
No, they have other low-budget, like, independent films, but these are two, like, from an actual studio and stuff.
Well, clearly, too, they work well together, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And they definitely... deserved all those wins last year.
Unlike some of the people in this podcast here, but I'm not going to name any names.
Well, I'm glad that we got different perspectives on what we thought the movie was. We all gave it, different scores. I mean, from me and Aiden to Mike, but because Mike, again, like to your benefit, I mean, there are people that obviously agree with you, and then there's people like us that this movie is a cult following and really love this movie. So, there's different ways to look at it, but yeah, that was our review of Swiss Army Man. We will be back Friday with Secret Invasion and Barbie. So pretty exciting episode. Yeah, that'll be a good one. But thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, yes, sir. Peace out.
See you, boys.
See you next week. Swiss Army Dick.
Swiss Army. 33, Mike.